And I'm not downplaying what Nick has done. It's just, if you're asking me personally for my opinion, he wouldn't be my style. Like he wouldn't be the type of dude I'd want to follow. He wouldn't be the type of dude I would hire. Now, again, it's worked out. There's more than one ways to do it. I'm not professing to know everything.
Without further ado, let's go to our man from Birds 365, Big C, Zander Krause.
What's up, Big Silz? How you doing, brother?
I'm looking forward to this game on Sunday, dude.
Me too, my friend. Me too. Good football on the docket. Good game. Two good teams. Love your conversation about Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to get more money than even you were just saying there. I think, look, I mean, you got Tua Tagovailoa making $53 million. I mean, in my eyes, Baker Mayfield's probably pretty easily a top 10 quarterback now with the way he's been playing, and the way he's kind of willed himself into success in this Tampa offense. But I love the player. I love the mentality. So maybe I'm biased toward him, but I think he deserves it for sure. But great conversation. Two great teams, man. Two well-coached teams. I was thinking about that real quick, and I'd like to actually talk with you about this. Not that I don't want to program your show for you, but I was thinking about that last night. And I'm like, look, Nick ain't my favorite coach. I'm not going to lie. Like, he's not my favorite personality when it comes to a coach. But I don't think you get the 19-1, man, without a well-coached football team. At its core. Right? Like, you have a sloppy football team, not a well-coached team. You're taking flags, all the different things that a poorly coached team does would never get to 19-1. So I do think Nick kind of deserves some credit for the way this team has handled themselves getting to 19-1.
So do you think that this same coaching staff could go down to Miami and win 11 games?
Well, shit, obviously the talent factors in a little bit here in Philly. But I think, it's almost like, if the talent's good for 14 out of the last 19, a good coaching staff will get you to 19. A bad coaching staff will slow you down to 11. I don't know. Like, there's almost like it's probably a good rebuttal.
I think coaching matters more in the NFL.
It does. I almost sometimes I think John's a little unfair about it. Like, I get it. Players matter more, but just to insinuate that a coach, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like coaching matters more in football than.
Well, you're falling into the 19-1 line then again.
Certainly matters more. Coaching certainly matters more than hockey. Coaching, I would say, certainly matters more than basketball in football.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think you could probably make an argument pretty easily that it's more important than baseball. I mean, you got a manager I know who has to make crucial decisions, but shit, you got that and more with a football coach. I think it's the most important coach in all professional sports.
I think the catcher's more responsible for how a team plays in a baseball game than how even a manager, because he handles the pitching and he handles the defense per at bat. The catcher's responsible a lot on how a baseball team has looked.
Absolutely.
So then you're subscribing then to the 19-1 being an organizational thing.
Well, look. I understand that we have an organization that has a rare combination of things right now. A general manager who's been clicking on all cylinders, a roster that has been built for the long haul with the trenches and the way they're built, the skill. Like, I understand all those factors. Obviously, they all go into the 19-1. But my point about the coaching was just like, I don't think you get to that point if you don't have at least a coach who knows what they're doing or has your team on the rails or has your team going in the right direction, bought in for a common goal and for a common purpose. So, and also discipline. I know they've had their moments of lack of discipline, but I think overall this team has been so committed to the vision that they have, that deserves some credit as well. But, it is organizational. Like I just said about, different sports, you need all those things in football. Like, you could have a great coach. Bill Belichick couldn't win a game when Tom Brady left. He could barely. I don't know what their record was when he left. Barely 500.
It wasn't.
So it's like football is the sport. It's one of my favorite things about football. You could have a quarterback or a player, and obviously there's a sliding scale for who impacts the game more, but it's the ultimate. It's not just a cliche. It's really the ultimate team game where you need 22 men on both sides of the football fighting for the same purpose, the same goal, and does their job individually to the best of their abilities.
And very rarely do you match it up.
Exactly. Very rarely do you match it up. It's the most beautiful thing about football. It's stimulating both physically and mentally because of the way that it's, there's a lot to consume. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of different things happening on the field. So kind of an appreciation for football right now. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this game, man. It's gonna be great.
I think Vic Fangio is the best defensive coordinator since Buddy Ryan on this team, and that includes Jim Johnson. I am sold 100%, and I'm going to go with John on this one. That he's the best coordinator in pro football, and that includes Spags. Bro, the chicken shit he's turning into chicken soup again, and those numbers are all going to straighten out. They're a little low, but you know what? They're 3-0. They're making it happen. That edge fucking room is atrocious heading into this game. Now, before I get ahead of that, I want to hear your prediction. I got 28-26 Eagles in this game. What do you see happening on Sunday at 105?
I think I said 27-24 this morning, or 27. What did I say, guys? 27-23, right? 27-24. Somewhere. Let's put 27-24. I think the Eagles are going to be ahead in the game. But my score gets close because I believe Baker Mayfield will not let them get beat by 2 scores. Like I believe I like
keep it close.
Exactly. Late in the game, they might be down 2 scores and it might not look that close, but Baker wills them to 10 points in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. I think Baker has that ability. It's one of my favorite parts about him. But I think the Eagles win the game. I do. I just think they're the better team right now. I think they're better in the trenches. I think, now you could maybe argue that a little bit, but I do think the Eagles are going to take advantage of some of the injuries that the Bucs have. And we just talked about the team game. There is only one great equalizer in football. There's only one. It's injuries, man.
Absolutely.
You can have the greatest roster in the world, the greatest coaching staff, the greatest quarterback. You get a couple injuries in the wrong spots, man, your whole game plan can get blown to shreds. So, they just have some big injuries right now that I think are real hard to overcome.
Here's how I put it out. I went, because Wirfs now gets put back in his normal position of left tackle, you're going to be able to put 2 other guys back in their traditional positions in the offensive line.
Right.
Cody Mock is out for the year. So, again, that's a huge loss for them. With him, they're probably the 3rd or 4th best O-line in pro football, and it's probably the best offensive line that they've ever had in Tampa Bay. That being said, I don't believe that your edges are good enough against the run. I think they have struggled mightily. You needed an edge going into this game. Now you don't have one of your premier edge guys in Nolan Smith. You got a guy you had 14 days ago who's now a member of the Eagles, and then you have the project of Jalen Hunt, and you're going to count on Joshua Uche. So your edges in this game are Smith, Hunt, and Uche. I'll take the Bucs in that one. Or if you want, I'll take a push in that one, because that's not an advantage for Philly. Now, I do think this. You're going to have to try to get the ball moving on the ground if you're Tampa. They've got Bucky Irvin. They've got White. They're good ball players, but they're going to try to threaten the edges. They're not going to go up the middle and bang their heads against Jordan.
Yeah, but isn't Bucky Irvin kind of the perfect back for that?
Yeah, but why do I want to throw him right into the meat of your defense where your strength is in your 2 tackles? I want to go off tackle.
Well, yeah, run him to the outside a little bit.
And because I don't have Mike Evans, I'm going to throw the ball more to them in space. So I'm going to try to create some outside, because what? You play zone, right?
Yeah, I think weirdly that kind of plays to the Bucs' advantage in this game. Just in the sense of the Bucs want to run, and the Eagles are a little bit lesser against the run, because that's just not it's really not the system of their defense.
It's not them, though. It's not the tackles. It's the edges that are killing them. I'll tell you, the kick. You know what the biggest mismatch is in this game? It's Goddard on the backers. Tampa Bay is one of the worst pass defending linebacking team. Levante David, as much as I'd love the player, bro, 15th year. Where are we going? You know what I mean? I mean, we're talking about an aged player here who is struggling at defending the pass. I'd want to get Goddard going across the middle, but once again, Zander, we go back to the conversation. They don't throw across the middle of the field. That's not their mentality. They don't threaten the middle. They're going to go to the numbers. And again, that helps the Bucs because they don't throw across the middle of the field. Somebody brought up Goddard had a touchdown catch this year. And I'm like, yeah, how many times have you seen that in the last 20 games? 4? I go, that's not a common thing that they do. So to me, AJ versus that secondary, I don't really think their corners are great. I think their safeties are good, but I don't think their corners are good. Winfield's the second best safety in pro football right now. I just don't think their corners. Now, a week ago, Jamal Dean had a pick 6. He took it back. That's the second. They've only had 2 turnovers. The Bucs defense has only had 2. They got them last week. Not really a turnover machine team. The defense has struggled. In my opinion, man, your offensive coach versus Todd Bowles. I don't know. That don't sound like a win for me. Okay? Because again, what was the biggest complaint that they had all week? Is that they don't adjust and the play doesn't come in on time. Now, I heard John say that that's not coaching. I mean, that's the player. You mean to tell me adjusting and the player went 30% audible in the second half? He countered the coach's
well, dude, if that's player too, then what does the coach do? If the quarterback's responsible for getting a play in on time, which it's not true.
It's not.
I think I don't know what he meant by that. I should have followed up on that. I don't know what he meant, like, because I heard him too. I heard him say it. You're
getting to the line of scrimmage with 6 seconds.
That's what I mean.
Brady used to get to the line of scrimmage.
Jalen's probably already thinking too about reading pre-snap reading. You know what I mean? That's one of the most important things that he's doing right now. If I'm Kevin, my utmost priority should be not only the play call in, but the play in as early as possible, so Jalen can get to the line and read. I don't know. That's something to keep an eye on. I don't think it's on Jalen though. I was surprised to hear John say that.
The Bucs special teams is terrible. It's terrible.
Really?
They've struggled mightily, man, the last 3 weeks, and I think the Eagles are really good. Michael Clay,
like in what way?
Blocked field goal. They gave up that in the Jets game against the Texans. They gave up another special teams on punt return. They dropped one and put it on the ground. In the Atlanta game, they had a special teams gaff. All 3 games, they've had a miscue on their special teams.
Yeah, and we've been good on special teams.
And you've been excellent on special teams. All for that guy's crazy kickoff in the Rams. I don't know, kicking the knuckleball.
Well, that was pretty bad, honestly. It's worth mentioning because that guy, we couldn't field a kickoff to save our lives last week.
What's your biggest concern going in
to the game?
Yes.
I think just like the element of the Bucs game. Like I don't feel like they're better than us. I don't feel like they're positioned better than us, but the Bucs just seem to play us well. It's like sometimes the Commanders. That's how it used to be even when they were shitty. Sam Howell took us to double overtime. And it's one of those things I think in this game where you kind of just have that feeling of like, man, it's the Bucs. Like we always play them close for some reason. They always play us well. In fact, for the last 5 years, I think we can all say, yeah, we're 1-4 against them. So that's where that feeling comes from. But that's really it. I mean, you look at that. I think their run defense is going to be really good. So I don't know if Saquon's going to get going again. I think offensively, what's the approach for the Eagles and what does conservative look like this week? You know what I mean? Is that running again? How are they going to manage that? Hassan Reddick coming in. I wonder what he's thinking coming into this game. Does he hate the Eagles? Does he like the Eagles? Does he not? Does he look back on it with bad blood? Is he feeling like he needs some revenge? Is he saying, I want to make Howie look like an idiot and go get 2 sacks? Like, I think Hassan Reddick is a fun storyline in the game. But I think just coming off of last week, you don't like last week was like the tale of you got the lows and you got the highs, especially offensively. So it's like, where do they steady the water this week? What does that thing look like? How consistent are they? And how do they come out and attack? That's probably my number one thing coming into the game, just coming off of last week.
I want to give you a little bit that ESP just posted here about Saquon Barkley. A lot of players this week have been stressing the need to be more aggressive. And Saquon was asked the question, and he basically came out, and I'll paraphrase it here, and said, yeah, man, we just have to be better at communicating, and we got to be better at adjusting. Bro, there's subtle shots at the coordinator. Or do you think it's subtle shots at the quarterback or both?
I think it could be at the philosophy. because like I don't know if I really don't know if it's Kevin. You know, like I'm not sure. Like I agree with you where it does sound like a subtle shot to a certain extent, and you got to put it on somebody. Like who's the shot at? But I don't know. Does AJ think Kevin Petullo is dumb, or does he think Kevin Petullo's in a seatbelt? Well, in a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't step outside. You can't do, you know what I mean? Like you're locked into what we're doing here on offense. And this is how you can, this is the limits to your creativity because we want to play within these confines, because these are the parameters that we've set that leads us to win games. They've been right about those parameters, but those parameters can still be limiting in certain regards. So I think that's where the coordinator might be limited. And I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask AJ, and I don't know if he would give you it, although he's great in press conferences. I like listening to AJ, but, I don't know. I think it could be at like just the approach, coming into the game. This is what you want to do. All right, I get we want to do that, but let's not completely castrate our offense, for lack of a better word. You want to stay aggressive. You want to remain the dominant force multiplier on the field. That's what you've assembled this offense to be.
Okay, well then, where would that decision come from? My point would be. Is it from the front office? Is it from Nick?
John says Nick. I don't know if I believe him.
So let me get this. You go to your boss. I thought this is what Doug went to those meetings for on Mondays, on why that they were only scoring limited points, that he had to go to the owner and he had to go to the general manager on why they were beating Atlanta 17-14. And that was one of the reasons why he had the bitch is because it wasn't explosive enough. And now you're telling me Nick is limiting them? And
I don't know, maybe.
It's counter to what they said to Doug.
I mean, you know how many emails I get? Yo, Zander, why do you let that asshole Sileo hate on our Eagles? I'm like, hey, I hired a man to do a job. I let him do the job. You know what I mean? So I get it. Maybe people assume that that's the way people go, but I don't know. Do you think it's Nick? Do you think it's the organization?
No, I think it's a collective thing. I think it's collective. I think it's Howie, Nick, and that's why the personnel's picked the way it is. I mean, well, let me ask you this. Do you think when Howie makes a move and fires a guy and then hires a guy, you think he consoles with Nick? Because every time I hear Vic talk, Vic goes, yeah, the guy showed up and there he is.
Yeah, see, like, it's interesting to think about that because you would think that obviously Howie is the final say on personnel. That makes sense, right? The general manager who's had a good career and obviously has 2 Super Bowls, like he's going to have personnel.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly. So like he's earned that and that's what he has. But at the same time, when you trade a player like Thomas Booker or when you make moves on the personnel side, like don't you think for example, yes, Howie, you can make the decision, but doesn't it just make logical business sense to talk to the person that's going to deploy the guy you're acquiring for the football team? Like, I would say, all right, Vic, we have this trade in mind.
But he learned that because of Rager. I don't want to hear your opinion on a player. I'm going to make the decision. I'll never be caught like that ever again on a coach making decisions.
But you think it's more like, Vic, what player do you need? What type of player? And then I'll go pick the player.
That's right, and I'll pick the player. Give me a profile because, look, Vic's not going to sit around and watch a college kid. He's not going to sit around and watch free agent. Right now, he's getting ready for the Bucs. How he's going to go, what kind of player do you need? I need an edge setter. I need a guy who could drop in coverage. Vic doesn't have a name on the back of the jersey. Howie's the one that finds the name on the back of the jersey. This is the guy here. He identifies that guy. That's why all of a sudden you're like, this fucking guy shows up and he's in my building. Jacorian Bennett, I have no idea who the fuck he was. He talks about a Dory Jackson. He goes, yeah, there he was. And, I think that's how he handles it. And if you're a coach, I don't know if that's that bad an idea. Because you know why? I'm looking for a prototype. I'm not looking for a name. Because that's where you get in trouble. Yeah, Bryce Huff Howie screwed up on Bryce Huff for one reason. What was that? He just didn't fit. He didn't fit with Doug.
Into the flash sacks. Exactly.
Right, he didn't flash sacks. He couldn't set the edge. Now, guess what? He's in a role with Robert Saleh, just pass rushing. He fits that role. Howie thought he could convert him into a 3-down guy. Well, that's not working. Right? That's not working.
No, I agree.
He's 7th right now.
Bryce Huff's got 2 sacks already this year, I think. Let me look.
And
he's got 2 sacks, 9 tackles, and a forced fumble.
Wow.
I think he's one of the highest graded edge rushers on PFF, too. I
wonder what his snap count is. If they're situationally playing him, or if he's got a high snap count. Because last year they were trying to turn him into a 3-down guy. Boy, could that guy help right now. Holy shit. Now, but then again, he can't set the edge. He was a liability here a year ago.
Bryce Huff's number 5 ranked edge rusher in football right now, behind Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, and Myles Garrett. 4th ranked.
And
5th, if you include Latu. Wow, good year for Latu.
Hey, so wait a minute. So, and the number 1 safety is Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah.
So
now, to be fair to this conversation, I don't think Bryce ever would have worked here. Like, I don't think I'm not saying that with like we should have kept Bryce. I'm just saying it shows you how you can get a player to play when you put them in the right role that's built around their skill set. I mean, shit, Silz, just to bring up you as an example again, we had a guy on this program who said they put you at the wrong position and stifled your professional football career.
President of the team.
Yes. I mean, it's a big thing, you know, and back in the day when there was less opportunity, you know, you had to make the most of your opportunity or you were cooked. You know, that's what happened to you. At least that's how Rich McKay described it.
Right. That's right.
So, you know, it's a big thing getting a guy in the right in the right role for him and what they do well. So, you know, Zadarius Smith certainly looks like he fits that role.
I heard John say that they're going to put him on a snap count.
Well, you hear him say he's like, oh, yeah, I know he's going to be good right now, but how long's he going to hold up? I'm like, does he know something? I don't know what he meant. I'm like, he's not that old. How old is Zadarius Smith?
31. I believe 31, 32.
33.
Okay.
But he just turned 33. Remember, like 20 days ago when he got signed.
Man.
I don't know, man. I watched Brandon Graham play like really good football till 35, 36 years old. Like Brandon Graham was like a good football player. Like not an Eagle good, like by objective measures, Brandon Graham was a good football player last year.
Hey, man, this is going to be stupid, but you get another fucking significant injury to that. I don't know, man. I might call BG up and say, is there anything left in the gas can? How you feeling?
I hear you. And I wouldn't.
Hey, I mean, right? I mean, Zander, because where are you going to get somebody that could come in and play, know the system? And I don't know, again, what kind of shape he's in. I have no idea. And it was kind of a forced retirement anyway. So, I mean, right? And now you're like limited.
I feel like BG's got more in the tank. But
you're telling me he couldn't be a role player for you?
I don't know. It all depends. Like, how's he been approaching the summer? You know, like has he been working? I don't know. Like if you
with you. He's lost
even like a couple people don't understand. Like even a couple weeks out of the gym, like 2 weeks will set you back. 3 weeks, like you know what I mean. So you really got to stay at it. And I don't know if he has or not. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate it right now. But I tell you what, the edge rusher room is thin right now. No one.
Man, it is really accentuated here. Do you
now Joshua Uche has been graded out really well. Now that doesn't mean he does anything. You know, and he's been good as the 4 because he's not asked to set the edge at all. He's asked to go rush the passer. So if he's going to have to play more, I would assume that grade will come way down, and I don't know how competent he'll be in that regard.
Do you think they start the game like the second half? Or do you think that they're going to evolve into that second half again in this Buck game?
Yeah, that's kind of my biggest question. Like, what is the approach? You know, John keeps telling me, they're going to continue to stick with their guns. And look, I get it. I get why at the same time where it's like, all right, you know, they're 19-1. They keep winning. I understand. But I hope they come out a little more aggressive. Just because I think you have
aggressive what way?
Just attack. Just attack. It doesn't mean I need you to throw the ball. Just attack. Be aggressive. Don't play soft. If you have a 3rd and 17, I don't want to see an inside zone.
Inside zone.
Oh my God, I hate that play so much.
And they run that fucker a lot.
The injury report came out.
Let's hear it.
Doubtful. The only person doubtful right now is Adoree. So it might be Keely Ringo. Doubtful. Not questionable. Doubtfuls.
Who's starting then?
Keely. So did not practice today. No, that was Wednesday. Thursday's limited. No, Fridays. Limited was Adoree. Doubtful. They listed his game status as doubtful. Full practices today for Bond, Campbell, Lane Johnson, Tanner McKee. He's back. And Will Shipley.
Keely Ringo starting at corner.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about it because Adoree hasn't been good.
Oh, hey, no harm, no foul. Right?
All right. Just hear me out for a second. You have a look of worry on your face.
I do.
Yeah, for Keely Ringo. Like, if we had Adoree Jackson coming into the game, would you be like, hey, all right, there you're good at corner too? You wouldn't.
Think the expression changes.
Yeah, you'd be like, Baker Mayfield's going to torment Adoree. All right, well, now he might torment Keely. At least we got a 23-year-old player who might learn a thing or two.
Wow, Keely Ringo.
Keely was talking with confidence in the locker room yesterday. I kind of respect it because it's not easy to fend off all the media. You know what I mean? Especially when you're talked about to be the starter and then you fall on your face a little bit. So I kind of respect the Ringo comments. And I'm not sure if you saw them, but the Ringo comments. He basically said, "There's nothing I can say to you. I'm going to go. I got to show you. I got to show you on the field." That's what it comes down to. You know, I thought he was good though.
Are you concerned about all this attention on the weather? I mean, of all things here, and
it's a little weird. But nah, I'm not worried.
Okay, so Tim McManus posted this. Besides traveling a day earlier to Tampa, Eagle players are getting an extra sauna time to prepare for the heat. Even Baker Mayfield ripped this. Jordan Davis said during his interview yesterday, there's probably 15 to 20 guys sitting in the sauna as he spoke. I mean, dude, you're the fucking Eagles. You're the heavyweight champion of the world. What are you worried about? You're the heavyweight champion of the world. That don't sound – hey, you know what, man? It's really hot down there. Fuck, we got to really think about getting down there early. So let me come out of my routine and fucking go down. I mean, bro, I got half the battle won. If you're worried about the weather, I'm not worried about the weather. I'm worried about A.J. Brown.
Right.
You're worried about the weather. I'm worried about the fucking player that's one of the top 3 guys in the league. You guys are dicking around with something else that's not football related.
I mean, I will say this. I know it's hot and everything, but correct me if I'm wrong here, and I don't think I am. Like, September football happens in Florida every year. Yeah. Like, I know it's hot, but, like, it's not like we have this, like, even by Florida standards, it's extra hot. Like, it's Florida weather in September. No. You know, that they play there. University of Florida plays there. The University of Miami plays there. Florida State University plays there. And a litany of other schools play there.
Bucs, Jags, Dolphins all play there.
Right.
I mean, dude, I don't get it either. I
get it. I know. Believe me. I know it's hot. I do. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I'm talking to a guy on the show right now who played Saturday games in August.
And Sunday games in August and September. And also, I played professional games in September and college games in September.
Yeah.
Hey,
college games kick off in August sometimes.
Hey, right. Get this. This just in. It's fucking hot.
Right. I don't know. I kind of hear you. I think the rain, apparently it might rain, but, you know, Rich, you're down there, Rich, so you know. I mean, Florida rain is so hard to predict.
But listen, 55%. Okay, so this means it'll be humid and there'll be more humidity.
Yeah, but will that help cool them or no? Will it have a reverse effect?
It will help. It will help the coolness.
Only if it's consistent. If it puddles
it's overcast.
If it rains for 10 minutes, it spits on you for 10 minutes.
Oh my God. You know this because you go down to Naples.
Yeah.
Listen to this, folks. This is what I used to hate. So we get ready to go out, Zander, to practice at Miami. So about 2:45 every single day, we get ready to go out, and like 2:50, fucking torrential downpour comes, and you're like this, cools it off. Zander, all of a sudden, Moses comes out and does this, and he parts the sky, and that heat vent gets turned on, and you're like this, oh my God. And you walk out there, and you're like, hey, Jason Kelsey said it perfectly. When you're younger, you tolerate it. When you're older, you remember it. Okay? You remember it. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay? Because he said it's brutal. It is brutal.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, no, it's brutal. It's definitely going to be a factor. But I do kind of agree with you. Like, they've given it a lot of life.
They've given it a lot of life. They surely have.
They're letting that thing grow a little bit. All right. It's like they're like watering a seed that you don't need to water.
I want to ask you about Mayfield. So Baker Mayfield is making $30 million a year, and he's got a game on Sunday that would absolutely put him up there. And the Buccaneers have sent some tea leaves out. They fully guaranteed, which they didn't have to.
Yeah,
he's 2026.
That doesn't cut it for me. Baker Mayfield, that's probably the best value contract in all of football.
All of football. He's undervalued. Okay. Hurts is underappreciated. I would say that Baker Mayfield is the most underpaid quarterback in the NFL. How do you like this matchup going into this game, Mayfield and Hurts? Do you see a lot of similarities?
Well, I see there are obviously different styles of player, but I do see similarities from kind of the approach, the story. You know, Baker was obviously a number 1 overall pick, but, you know, at every level he has had to fight and claw. You know, he went to college.
He walked on at Texas Tech.
Yeah, walked on at Texas Tech, exactly. Transferred to Oklahoma. You know, obviously had a tremendous career at Oklahoma. Amazing career at Oklahoma.
Heisman.
But again, started, you know, having to prove himself. Same thing. First overall pick, you know what I mean? Gets there, though, and boom, immediately humbled. Now, you could make an argument the Browns just made a bad decision. He led the Browns to the playoffs.
He did.
That was coming off the era. Like, the Browns organization still sucks, but they've stabled out a little bit since the Baker draft. People remember, before that Baker draft, that's when everybody was showing all the jerseys that the Browns had of like the 30 different quarterbacks listed.
Right.
It was a catastrophe. And then you draft Baker Mayfield. Yeah, he might not have looked as perfect as you wanted them to look, but he led you to the playoffs and you're the Browns. And then you cut bait with him because you want Deshaun Watson. You know, I don't know. They made a lot of bad decisions there. I love Baker Mayfield's story. I think he's a fighter. I like people who fight. I like people who don't let themselves tap out when they're kicked down to the surface. Fight. You know it sucks right now, and I think Baker embodies that, and I love that. So I like him a lot, and I think Jalen has that too because, you know, he's got that adversity, you know, come up a little bit where he's been counted out. I mean, you said it earlier on this show. Many fans might not want to admit this, but the truth is the truth. Nobody expected Jalen to be a thrower of the football like he is right now.
He was going to be a backup safety belt guy.
Dude, he was a guy. I mean, people thought about him being like, is he a Taysom Hill? Think about that. That was a topic on national TV when Jalen Hurts was drafted. Legitimately, will Doug Peterson use him like a Taysom Hill? That was a conversation. He's elevated himself to a Super Bowl MVP quarterback. I mean, it's absurd. So they both share that. I think they'll both probably respect each other because of that. Very different styles, though. You know, I think Baker's a more talented thrower of the football. Both OU guys. That's true. You know, but I think Jalen has this it factor that just overtakes almost every variable, it seems. You know, and when they have their worst game I've ever seen, worst half of football I've ever seen last week, they still find a way to win. It's just Jalen embodies that. So they're both unique players. They're both kind of fun players to watch and talk about. They're unique in their own right, though. Should be a great matchup between the two and the two teams.
All right, let me ask you this one. You're a former athlete. You're a high-level athlete. Who would you rather be coached by, Todd Bowles or Nick Sirianni?
Todd Bowles. No question. Just me personally, though. Just my personal approach on a type of coach.
Boy, you answered that fast.
Yeah, it's I've said that consistently. I respect Nick, and I'm not downplaying what Nick has done. It's just, if you're asking me personally for my opinion, he wouldn't be my style. Like, he wouldn't be the type of dude I'd want to follow. He wouldn't be the type of dude I would hire. Now, again, it's worked out. There's more than one ways to do it. I'm not professing to know everything, but it would just be my style. I would prefer Bowles. I like Bowles better.
You know why? I think Bowles has more. I think Nick sometimes comes off like a bullshit artist. I don't think there's any bullshit in Todd Bowles. And I mean, and again, I don't mean that too harshly. What I mean by that is he's like a company guy with some of the answers that he answers because That's the way they do business. Remember what you said to me about Jalen Hurts being put in a box and being put in a system and being put in a way that he has to win games? I think Nick is also put in a box. This is how we do business. This is how we do things here. This is how we talk about our coaches and players. Coaches and players are interchangeable. Okay? Front office people. Don't you find it odd that the majority of the front office people in Philadelphia have been there 20 or more years, and yet your coaches are constantly revolving and your players are revolving? So Nick knows the landscape, and he's put in a box the same way as Cord. I think Nick's put in a box. I think KP's put in a box. I think Jalen is. But get this, to your point, all of that said, Silz, 19-1, 2 Super Bowl wins in 8 years, 3 appearances. What's your concern with our procedure and how we go about the business of football? Look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys are nowhere in the planet even near us. This is where you win the argument with the way the Eagles do business. You can't get away from it. And this is why they believe that the front office is more important and that organizations win championships. I'd like to have one day Howie ask this question. Who does he think wins championships? Organizations or players? And I don't want you to give me a mayor of the year in Philadelphia answer.
And that's what he would. If you asked him that, that's what he would give you.
He would. And I'd quantify that by saying, if you had to pick one, and I'm asking you, who do you think wins organizations? I believe he thinks he does. And that the players he puts in the organization, that's a direct result of their direction of how they go about their business. And I think that's why Kevin Patullo's in a box. I think that's why Nick's in a box. I think that's why the quarterback is in a box. Let me ask you this about Carson.
Wait, I want to answer that, though, before we move forward.
All right.
So I agree with you. I agree with you that they would think that. And I'm going to present to you a potential evolution of the game that where it might be more true today than in the past. Now, I'm of the belief that players win championships, okay? You don't win championships in New England if you don't have Tom Brady. You don't win Super Bowls in Philadelphia if you don't have Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, that offensive line, that defense. You don't do that. But are organizations more important to that recipe today now than ever because the growth of the game, because the size, think about the sheer size of the employees within a football team right now. Howie Roseman, he's got 50 analytics guys working under him.
And the cap.
And the money and the size of, the stature of the organization. Like it's become, we talked about this once before. They're like Fortune 500 companies now. It used to be a football team. Bill Belichick ran his football team. Now it's like you got this part, and it's so much bigger where it's like, if you have great players, I do think you got to kind of have a great organization too. Now, in defense of your point, it takes the rare combination of both that I think gets you the real success, the long-term success. But I don't think just great players could win a Super Bowl without an organization that knows what they're doing, because you look at organizations like the Bengals, are you blaming Joe Burrow there? No, you're like, that organization sucks. Look at Chicago. Look at all of these, the Panthers. Look at all these organizations that don't consistently stack good decisions together that give your team a good opportunity to win. Now, at the end of the day, it's the dudes between the white lines. We all know, everybody should know that. I would think you would know that. It's the dudes between the lines that are fighting the battles. But it's a good example. They're fighting the battles, but to win the war, you got to have more you got to have more support, So I think the organization does have a bigger role than maybe they would have in the past, but I do agree to your point that players are more important here.
Just an update. I just got a text. Wirfs and Godwin are going Sunday. They're questionable right now, game time, but they're going on Sunday. Now I don't know.
Go for the Bucs. I mean, that's.
I don't know how much of an impact Godwin's been out since the Raven games last year. So I mean, I don't know what he offers you. I mean, you know what I mean. Wirfs was full practice yesterday. So who do you think is more valuable then to Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, or Jalen Hurts? Everything you just said.
Yeah, that's a good question.
All the stuff you just said.
Honestly, in my heart, I believe Jeffrey thinks Howie's more important. I do. I just think that's what Jeffrey
would
was
ask
thinking.
John that question one day. That's all you need to know about the organization.
Yeah, he thinks Howie's more important. Is he wrong?
No. Because get this. If I have all these quality guys picking players for me, and I have a way about how we're doing, okay, would you rather have a great front office? Or is the front office the reason why do you agree that the reason that you have great players on your team right now is because the front office is great? Do you agree with that?
To a large extent, yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah. How else do you get good players?
Well, bro, if you're the Jaguars who don't have a great front office, or you're Buffalo who has a semi-decent front office, or if you're the Tennessee Titans and you don't have a great front office, dude, today's football, I'm going by what you told me by today's NFL. I think what's more important to an owner today is having that quality general manager more than even having a franchise quarterback.
It's tough to gauge
because even if you have a franchise quarterback, Zander, listen to this. If you have a franchise quarterback and you have a subpar front office, how many of these quarterbacks die on the vine?
That's what I mean. That's why I think that it's more important. Because even when you have the best quarterbacks, that you'll ever see talent-wise that get drafted, it doesn't. It does less for turning an organization around than a great general manager does. Is that a turning point? There's no way that
look at the guy you saw last night. You're watching. I'm watching fucking Sam Darnold, and I'm going like this. You're kidding me. Do you want to hear something, Zander?
Dude, Sam Darnold looks good,
bro. You want to hear this? He's 17-4 in the last 2 years. He's 17-4.
Impressive.
I mean, for a guy.
Yeah, you give Hurts credit for 19-1. You got to give Darnold credit for that. Not 17-4.
Get this, and for a guy who was fired in New York, who everyone went, that guy's a fucking bomb, and he's 17-4. Now, look, I can't get over the nuclear implosions at the end of last year that he had in the playoffs and at the end of the season. But dude, doesn't it show you when you go look at Baker Mayfield going to the Bucs, coming out of Carolina? He goes to the Bucs. Look at him now. He's going to be talking about a $55 million deal. Yeah. Look at these reclamation projects all around the league right now. When you go to good front offices, I'm going off of what you said to me a couple of minutes ago, Silz, the old school mentality versus new school stuff. Is it more important to have a really quality front office like the Eagles do? Or do you think it's more important to have franchise quarterbacks or franchise players?
Yeah, it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg. I mean, make an argument each way. I do want to clarify. I mean, like somebody up here says, I think the owner loves Jalen. That wasn't the question. I agree, Martin.
That's a question.
The owner loves Jalen Hurts, and I think he knows his value. But what
I asked you who's more important to him.
Yeah, Silz talking about something a little different than just like whether he likes the quarterback. And yeah, I mean, look, I agree with this guy here. Ray says GMs are overrated, coaches and players are more important. But the problem, Ray, is this. Again, that's why I said chicken or the egg. How do you get great players? How do you find evaluators? How do you evaluate? Ray, you got 500 new football players coming into the league every single year between draft picks and undrafted free agents. You probably got more equal or more than that leave the league because they never panned out in football in any given year. How do you find those players, Ray? Because I agree with you. The players are the most important thing. But at the end of the day, a great player on another roster doesn't help your team.
But to Brady's point, if I draft a guy number 1 overall and I give him a shitty fucking coach, what do you think the chances of that guy going on and being successful are? None. We just got through saying coaching in the NFL. Look at the coaching Brady got when he was younger. He had Belichick in his ear telling him what not to line up in. Yeah, right. Then he ended up putting Josh McDaniels around him and Bill O'Brien around him. How about this one? Do you think if Jalen Hurts went to the Tennessee Titans, he'd be where he is right now?
No. And has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. Are you kidding me? No. Not even fucking close. Not even close.
So it does go back to this. Yeah. In today's NFL, I'm going to ask Mike North this. It goes back to this. Howie Roseman, he loves Jalen Hurts. He loves Brandon Graham. He loves all those guys. At the end of the day, though, to him, Zander, the most important guy in the building is Howie Roseman, because Howie puts the players on the field. He signs the contract.
Well, why does Howie make, a tenth of what Jalen makes?
It's just the pay scale of what those guys are. General managers don't make a lot of money.
No, they don't.
Nick
Sirianni, they make money, but they don't make
probably
money.
Makes double what he makes. I mean, if you're paying Howie, you're paying him what, 10? And I'm assuming that deal got cut.
I don't even know if it's 10, dude.
Well, I can guarantee you that I believe that Nick's making 15. Between 12 and 15, somewhere in there. It's got to be. Funny, his salary never came out. I mean, this is to the approach that we already are arguing this week. And this is why I think the players argued this week. Dude, these coaches have this mentality. And the players are fighting it. I find this. Do you think Jalen Hurts likes this offense?
I think Jalen Hurts honestly likes winning. I really do. I think he just likes winning. And when they win, he's happy.
How's that not frustrating, though, when you know what winning is and he doesn't? I mean, Kevin Patullo does not know what winning is as an offensive coordinator. He knows what winning is as an Eagle coach, not a fucking coordinator. He's not a championship offensive coordinator, dude. He's a championship Eagle coach. You're being elevated to the pilot seat. And when you're elevated to the pilot seat, flying the plane by yourself is a whole different world, isn't it? It sure looks it. I mean, these guys have complained all week subtly. I got to tell you what you said about AJ earlier. Dude, that fucking guy, AJ Brown, man, he is doubling, tripling, and just absolutely doubling down, making it everybody know. Listen, the players want to play one way. How about the number 30% of the second half, Jalen Hurts audibled out of plays that Kevin Patullo called.
Yeah, I saw that.
So for every 10 plays, he said no to 3 of them.
Yeah, but what was the rate of that? Like, I know that it's more than the first half was, but what's the rate of a great quarterback audibling at the line? Probably high.
Well, then let me ask you this.
I'm not going to go crazy, but the craziest extent would be Peyton Manning. I mean, Peyton Manning, he might have changed every fucking play.
I think he was his own offensive coordinator. Well,
you probably right.
So what do you think changed? Here, let me ask you this. Remember the question was, what happened in the second half? Who was calling the plays? Well, I think
Bobo.
We found out now who's calling the plays.
Even AJ said Bobo.
Yeah, but wait. No, he did call the plays, but Jalen changed some of them.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Oh, well, wait. He didn't change him in the first half. And that's why you had plus 34 total yards.
Yeah, why didn't he change him in the first half?
Because he finally said, AJ probably went over to him and went like this. Dude, we got to fucking do something. We're getting killed. And he went, you're right. They both went over there and started chirping, going, hey, the hell are we doing here, man? And that's when the whole thing hit the fucking fan. They started throwing the ball. AJ and all them guys were all happy and shit. Targets happened. There's no way they're doing that shit in this Bucs game. You're going to come out and you're going to be doing this. Mail. Hey, mail.
I feel like the Eagles are in a good position this weekend. I do. I mean, I think this is the perfect week to kind of, exercise that demon that they've had with this Bucs team. They're banged up. I mean, I know you were banged up, but I'm with you. No excuses. Well, you got the Bucs right where you want them. They're not fully healthy. I know they're in a hot weather game, but I'm with you on that. I mean, shut up about the weather. I know you're playing Tampa. It is what it is. Take it up with the NFL who has a team down there. I don't know what you want me to tell you. The weather's hot. You know.
Let me before I get Mike North on, we got to read some of these super chats here.
Yeah. Good.
So I'm going to tell this to Mike North when he comes on here. So do you think that the Chicago Bears management team in the last 20 years, God rest her soul, Virginia McCaskey sucked as an owner. She sucked. Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you think they've developed any quarterback with their management skills. You could have the number one picks, Mitchell Trubisky. You can have Justin Fields. If you've got a shitty front office, you're not developing that quarterback.
I know.
You're not.
It's true. I mean, I don't know. Like, I know we got Mike North coming up. I'm excited.
Ryan Poles blow.
I think Mike has Chicago syndrome, where he looks back on Mitch Trubisky and dreams of having him back because, Mitch Trubisky's a solid ball player, but I wouldn't say he's a guy you want to go out on a list for or anything.
He's telling you he won, though. I mean,
no, I know. He did win. And the Bears don't win a lot, so he deserves credit. Just like I give Jalen Hurts credit for that. You got to give Mitch credit for that. So I do agree with that. But I don't know. My thing with Poles is this: like, nobody has been successful before him. So has he done an incremental better job than other people? Because I don't believe a GM can operate fully at their best level if they don't have an ownership group that puts them in the right environment. That's why can Howie Roseman make so many good moves? Why? Because he can sign good contracts.
Bro.
Why can he sign good contracts? Because the owner lets him spend cash. When you can spend cash, you can get more players. When you can get more players, you have more success. So, part of me is like, Poles is meh, but are they doing the right things behind Poles to get him in an environment to succeed?
Here's another example.
Because I think he's listen, real quick though. I think Poles is the talent on offense over there. Whatever you think of Caleb, leave him out for a second. They got good skill position guys. Offensive line is still meh. They got decent running. Like, they've gotten better guys in that room to lead you to more wins. Now, they have to put it all together now, but I don't know.
Well, when you get mercenaries and you don't get draft picks and you're not doing homegrown, that becomes a problem. I'll say this to you, man. Between the owner, are you kidding me? It's like saying that the Bartolo York's family, like the Denise DeBartolo York, has been a good owner.
Right.
Hey, listen, she may be Eddie DeBartolo's daughter, but that apple was thrown from the tree. That's nowhere near.
The new Colts owner kind of walking around and policing everything a little bit.
I don't know. They're 3-0.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, no knock.
I'll tell you what, that Daniel Jones guy, that's not the same guy I saw in New York.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
hey,
man.
let's read some of these supers before we get to the legendary Mike North. Then don't forget, too, we got Philly Godfather at 5:30.
Rich says Hurts wants an Andy Reid. That's all. Yeah, I kind of think you're right, but at the same time, never going to have it.
Well, that's right. And this was the thing that Chris Long said, that he's always going to fall in an issue with here is because why? If you don't have a play calling head coach, you're going to have the revolving door at coordinator every year.
Indiana Jones is a great nickname. Dirty D says, Eagles have 1,142 paid employees. Dude, think about that. They got 53 men on the roster.
They got 1,100 employees?
I told you, man.
I bet you 1,000 of them are analytic guys.
No, but the point is, like, these are Fortune 500. These are like, dude, this is different.
Yeah,
this
I
is
get
a different world than now.
It is.
Max says, what do you think about Shiloh Sanders on the team? He got cut, right?
Yeah, he got a workout with the 49ers, and I don't know. Hey, did you see that stupid-ass comment Shador said? He said, I looked around the league, and I see all the bad quarterback play, and I turned around and went, dude, you're third team on the Browns. I might want to shut the fuck up.
His point is he hasn't been given an opportunity. Let him play. I'm Team Shador on that.
Third team quarterback in Cleveland.
Dude, we got guys like fucking, I've seen guys like Nathan Peterman out there. He's not wrong when he says that there's shitty quarterbacks in football. Rich says, if you applied for the NFL, what coaching? That's a great question.
I'd want to be a
line coach.
You know what? I had a chance to coach on the Bears organization when Dave Wannstedt was there. I had a chance to coach in Cleveland with Butch. I had a chance to coach in North Carolina, and I had a chance to be in the personnel department with the Raiders with Ken Herrick. And when those guys were out there with Al Davis, Al hired me and put me in the broadcasting. And so I had a shot to do that. But, yeah, no. So, I always look back on it because here's Zander. You don't have to be great to make a lot of money in coaching today.
Man.
So, I mean, you could just be mediocre and make $58 million.
Look at Bobo. Here we go.
Hey, or not only that, look at Dumbo Fisher at Texas A&M.
Oh, gosh.
He got $78 million on the way out the door.
Oh, God, I hate Dumbo Fisher. Kyle, I'm about to rip you, brother. I love you, man. He says, do y'all think Joe Douglas is going to help with the draft next year? Now, Kyle, before I even let Sileo answer, Kyle, do I have to remind you the draft picks that have happened in Philadelphia in the last 4 years. I mean, just in April, we drafted 2 starters on defense who are graded very highly in the NFL for their first 3 games. It's early. Last year, you got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, 2 stars. The year before that, you got Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, 2 starters on defense. Tyler Steen, now a starter on offense. I mean, the year before that, you got Jordan Davis, who took him a little bit, but he's come alive. 2nd round pick that year, Kyle, Cam Jurgens. I just named you the last 8 first, 2nd round picks for the Eagles, and they're all starters. What do you mean help in the draft? I don't think we need fucking help in the draft. We're good. Just keep doing what they're doing.
Isn't that the guy who brought Aaron Rodgers in New York too? I might hang in there.
He made a lot of good moves in New York. That might have been the one bad move. I don't know. I mean, I don't think they need help in the draft, but I assume he'll help. Here's Howard. Howard says, one of the cool things for the matchup is it seems that both Baker and Jalen are in the best respective teams that they can be in. That's a good comment to fit their skill sets. I do think it's going to be close because analytics, but Birds win. It's a good comment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great.
Well, a couple more here.
Couple more. We'll get to Mike North here in a second here.
I will say Baker is a guy you can root for, and he's going to get paid. He's got that dog in him, but I think the Eagles will control this 24-16.
He makes $30 million. $30 million. That guy's going to be 55 and north of it. Speaking of
Baker's the best contract in the league. Jim says the Browns going after Watson and letting Baker walk basically sums up that over in the other.
The Browns. Hey, they want Baker back in Cleveland. How you doing?
Rich says 55% chance of rain Sunday. Game start. We already talked about that, Rich. Eagles all day 2-5. He also said Kevin has preached being aggressive. Yeah, but I'm not listening to him anymore because he also told me Eagles at the press conference this week that he was aggressive in the first half. We had 30 yards of offense and -1 passing yards. I'm going to watch what he does, not listen to what he says. All right.
That's right.
All right. It's all of them.
Well, let me put it to you this way. So I got a Super Bowl MVP quarterback and I got a training wheels coordinator. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. That's correct. Well, yeah, guess what?
Maybe that second half was the ripping off of the training wheel. Get these off and throw them in the dumpster. That's what maybe happened.
I got to have open heart surgery. Wait a minute. You just got out of Cook County? That's the hospital up there in Chicago. Wait a minute. You just got your tenure at Cook? Yeah, I just came over from Northwestern. Really? Have you ever done a surgery? No. Holy cow. Well, I'm not having that guy cut me up. That's not working. All right. Big Z. Great stuff.
Brother. Good show, man. Great show, man. I'll catch you on Sunday for the pregame. All right, my man?
You got it, my friend. I look forward to that, and I can't wait.